Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a flip through of this journal, which was a collaboration between myself and Safia Button. And I'll link her Instagram in the description. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, but she's very active on Instagram and on Facebook. So how this collaboration happened was she sent me a big box full of goodies, and I took one of her pieces and I jelly printed on it. And then I sent it back to her with a bunch of my jelly printed papers as signatures for her to sew in. Because in that box that she had sent me this little journal where she had sewed in her signatures. And there's 4 signatures of various papers that she sent me. So I sent her something similar back, 4 signatures, but I let the sewing in part to her. So I have a flip through of this journal, and she attached this cool closure and she mailed it back to me. So I do have a flip through of this journal on one of my live streams. So I will link that live stream below. So she sent it back. She completed it February of 2025. And so a lot of these bases are by me, and then she added things. So I said, well, I'm going to do the journal that you sent me. I'm going to add to it, and then I'll mail it back to you. So I haven't mailed it back to her. I'm going to do a flip through first for you guys, and then I'm going to mail it to her. Now, I should say that I did do a flip through, a brief flip through of this on one of my lives. So what I've done is I've taken screenshots so that I can coordinate the before and after for many of the pages, maybe not all of the pages, but I'm going to put that up in the corner. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to scooch myself down here, and then I'll put the before and after up here, and I'll also do I'll put page numbers in the video, like 1, 2, 3, 4, so that if you have any questions about specific pages, you can just reference that in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer you. So for most of them, there is a before. So this page, I just added some shading and some doodles. I added a gel print, some other gel prints, and some doodling, and some words. That was a tracing paper that had a pull off of my Kaleidoscope of Friends stencil. So a lot of stencils used were from PM Artist Studio, and I'll try to say which ones are stamps, which ones are from them, and put links in the description below if I can think of it. This text page, I just scribbled ink, and then I added more ink, and then I put on some washi strips that I had made on that washi sticker paper that Janet M. Young sent me, and I gel printed on it. And then I added shading with Inktense pencils and some highlights with the gold Jelly Roll pen. This, I just simply added these gel prints that I did on stream, and then I doodled within them, and then I doodled in the spaces, added some text here. And this was a little leftover piece from a passport themed ATC swap I was doing. I thought that was kind of fun. This canvas, this is a piece of canvas, so I just added paint to it, and then I just drew with a white Sharpie acrylic marker just a shape, and I left it pretty simple. This is one of my stamps. It's called girl number something, and then I just extended the skirt, and I just hand wrote that there. This is a pretty simple page. Again, this was on the canvas. So I had scraped on a bunch of colors. You can see some of them back there, and I wasn't crazy about it. So what I did is I covered it all in the turquoise paint, and then I scratched off some of the turquoise paint to reveal some of the acrylic color below. Once that was dry, I put on a stencil on top, and I sponged through it using black, and that's my Wonky O stencil. And then I just wrote the word aphantasia there. I do have a video about aphantasia. Again, that's the canvas, so I just painted it pink, and then I used a stencil to make these hearts, and then I added dots. and I threw on the house I had made a few years ago using some Dina Wakley gloss sprays and kind of using them to make swirly bits. Here I added the doodles, a gel print. This is a collage soup washi tape and some text. And a lot of places I added shading either with a Pitt pen, Pitt artist pen, such as something like this, a gray pen. Not necessarily this one, I have different grays and blacks. Or I used Inktense pencils. These are sort of my two go-to Inktense for shading. You can see I've used that ink black quite a bit. So some of the stencils Safia used, I don't know what they are, so I can't really tell you, but this is one of my girl stamps on a inky baby wipe, and then I let it dry. I stapled it on here. I used some of my sketchy math foam stamps for the background after I had glued on a gel print behind here. I can't remember what stencil I used for that, and then I added shading to this stamp here in the turquoise to get it to kind of pop forward. This was a piece that Safia had sent me. I don't know, it must be from a game or something. She already had painted it. So I just weaved in one of my washi sticker tapes that I had made, and then I just added some color, like some green ink and some stamping, and then some lettering. This was a gel print I had, a botanical one I had done years ago. I just cut it into a house shape and added a chimney. I outlined it with the Inktense, and when you do Inktense, you use it and then you use a water brush to activate it. These are some stamps that I did in black, and then I used gold to get them to pop forward a bit more. And I think I added this bee stamp after. This page here was quite fun. I used actually my telephone stamp in purple acrylic paint. Make sure you wipe your foam stamps off if you're using acrylic paint. And then, so this whole page was this yellow color to start with. So I kept that for the phone, and then I painted out the background and the table just with some acrylic paint, and I just stamped on the word hello. That's just from a Stampin' Up stamp. This one here, I had these little guys from my passport ATC swap. I had cut them out of a travel book, and I thought they were kind of fun, so I just kind of stuck them in there. And I had this orange plastic that Dede had sent me in a giveaway, so I just glued those on here. And before I glued them on, I doodled just with a orange Sharpie acrylic marker just around there. This page, I don't know, I think I had these little things, these sort of hashtags from somewhere, but I don't know where, but I glued them on. This page, I just did some doodling over top of what Safia had already. This, I added this gel print because it matched. And then this was a transfer I had done from a collage soup book with some bright colors. And then I just used a black marker to outline a few areas. And then some doodling. I like doodling. This was some marble paper I'd done with my sister. This was done on Braille paper, so it feels kind of cool. And then I put a circle of text on top of it. And then I had these little cutouts. I was harvesting some magazines, and I thought this little pillow looked cute on her head, so I just kind of stuck them together. This one I added one of my sketchy math stamps in white acrylic paint on top of the blue. And then I just punched out different text with my hole punch and added some ephemera. I think I also got that from Dede as well. This one here, I was trying to make some sort of abstract thing, and it was just getting worse and worse. So I just wrote, "Not all art is pretty." And I said, I'm done. I'm not doing any more. Here was one of my girl stamps stamped on tissue that I glued on top of this after I'd added some of my marble paper. And then I added some black spots and some yellow marks using this really bright acrylic water-based Montana marker. It's acrylic, but it's, yeah, and it's got they say fine. I mean, for this marker, it's fine, but it's a bullet tip. It's a really bright, bright yellow. I used it over here too. Oh, and I wanted to add these words. I've always wanted to perform on stage. And most of these text words I got from pages I ripped out of this, a series of unfortunate events that I'm working on as like my washi sticker sample for the printed and gel printed washi sticker paper that I received the blanks from Janet M. Young. So some of the leftovers are in here as well. This is some leftovers. This is a paper artsy stamp, a Seth Apter one. And I added just little bits and pieces, and then I kind of scribbled over the stamp to make it a bit darker. This reminded me of like an ant hill. So I drew these little ants in there, and then I put one of my gel prints that I had done when I was doing my, I was using pieces of leftover stencils to make marks. I'll link that one below. I can't remember what it was called. And then I wrote, hard work beats talent when talent isn't working hard. And then this was another transfer from a collage soup book. And then I just kind of doodled on it, painted it, gave her some hair, added some gel printed tissue around it. This one here, I had some leftover of this kind of loopy stencil that I used for a gel print when I was making a birdhouse for my sister. And I had some left over, so I kind of cut it into sort of hills and I glued it on because the background here looked like the sky to me. So I tried to just paint this out here to match that side, and then I splattered it, added a bit of gold to kind of make it more cohesive. And then just a couple images from Collage Soup book, something fishy, this one here, something's fishy. So that's where those came from. Let's see if I'm still in frame. And this here, so this was the background that was there. I believe this was blank. So again, these are leftover prints that were done when I was making that birdhouse. This is Paula Keene's Ruin Blocks stencils, one of my favorites. And then this little robot here, I just cut him out of the Collage Soup Robotropica. I just thought he was going through this little portal here. This is some washi printed paper that I did, washi sticker paper that I printed on stream. This was a Gelliprint that I used my inkjet printer to print onto the washi paper, and I'd punched out a circle, and I thought it went well with the background. And then I added the text. I think I pieced it together. I found a small scrap of paper and tore it into strips. I think this is one of Safia's stamps, foam stamps, inky blots or something like that. This black background is a Carrie the Crafter stencil, eyes go round, something like that. And then I added this leftover gel print, and then a Collage Soup image from, I think that's from Chronological Disorder. It's from this book here. This was from a mark making, these pieces I added here were from a mark making stream I did, and I think I used bubbles, like soap bubbles. I'll just try to link all of these below. Maybe I'll put a card up in the corner. It's hard to remember. And then this was from the Collage Soup Robotropica as well. So that was a fun page. And this one here, I added these orange shapes that I had done on that stream. And then this was a piece of washi, jelly printed washi sticker paper that I did on stream. And I added the text, the light outside grew gray with the approaching dawn. This is some tracing paper that's a gel print of that bubble, the bubble mark making stream. You added some leftover die cuts. This one I added some doodles to the red spots, and I added this from that same stream where I did the stencil bits. And then I doodled in the spaces. That's from the same stream that I did these gel prints from, and I just kind of cut them out. And this is Safia made this. I added it in here, and I added some little dots and some doodles. This was a Collage Soup transfer that I did from Collage Soup Book. Maybe I did the transfer with gray paint and then I pulled it with red, something like that. I just cut them out, very simple, just some simple shapes, and I left this section just super plain. I just liked how it looked. Someone sent me this piece of paper, and I apologize, I can't remember who. It might have been Safia, but it might have been someone else. And then I had this leftover piece from something, so I glued that on there. Some intense shading. This was done on stream. I used, this is one of Safia's stamps. It's Floral Filigree Set 2, I think. And I had stamped it on a gel print. So then I cut it out just by hand, stuck it on there. And here I used a purple Inktense to shade around there. And it says, "Come help me with the gardening." This was printed on the washi sticker paper. It was a print of a canvas I had done, a collage canvas I had done, but I didn't like how it printed out, so I just cut it up and I glued it onto this here with some leftover gel prints behind it. And then I used a white gel pen to make some star shines, and it says, "Ever since I was little." This page here, I believe I added this black deli paper, which was also an image transfer from Collage Soup using gold paint on the black deli paper. And then I had this leftover shape from a die cut, I think, and then the circle go round is behind there, or eyes go round. And then I had this painty stencil piece that I had won in a giveaway. And I just liked how the colors kind of tied it together, so I just glued that down. And I'm not sure what stencil that is. And this is from that same stream where I had done the shape prints. I just glued down a 4x4 piece of it, added some words and some Inktense. Actually, no, I think that was a Pitt pen shading. And then that was from a mark making with the bubbles. And I had, this was on origami paper, and I had this die cut someone sent me, so I just put it on there. This one I had some leftover gel prints and brayer. This was a gel print, this was brayer off, and I just outlined them and shaded with the Inktense pencils. This was a canvas, so I just used some orange and yellow paint to cover the canvas. And then I just used some ink, I think it was a Bombay ink in this kind of container with the dropper. So I just kind of scribbled the black. Oh no, it wasn't. It was, I'm lying. It was actually some Sumi ink I had put in a needle nose tip. Not needle nose, but a pointy tip. So I used that to just put it on, and then I spritzed it with water and it dissipated into these cool shapes. And then I had this piece left over from my passport ATC session, so I just glued it on there. I roughed up the edges a bit. So on this page, I used one of Safia's painty papers. And if you want to see all the papers she sent me, that's also in the video where I do the flip through of this journal when I first got it. So I highly recommend seeing that. It's just at the beginning of that live stream. So on this one, I just took out I cut out a 4x4 piece of that, and I glued it down with matte medium. And then I used a piece of the washi printed paper that I had done. And then I outlined using a acrylic marker, but before it dried, I kind of blotted it so that it wouldn't be like a solid line. And then these pieces here were done from that video where I used the stencil bits to make some shapes. and then I cut that out, cut out these little triangles, did the shadow with the Pitt pen, and then I decided to make like some little wispy bits using that technique that Dede Willingham shows, where you take a baby wipe in the paint and you smush it in using the back of your hand, and then you can just kind of like softly wipe, and then you don't obliterate everything below there, so you can see everything through it. So it looks like a wispy mist. And I matched the color to the color that was in Safia's print. This page, I don't think I have a screenshot of the before, but basically this pattern in the background was there. And then this was just a plain text page that I painted. And then I wiped it back with some white paint or gesso, I can't remember. I had this piece from a stream I did using gold leaf on the gel plate, where you put a whole sheet of gold leaf and then you kind of like move it to crackle the gold leaf. And then I picked it up with this pink paint. That was a technique I saw on Elizabeth St. Hilaire's channel. And then on top of it, I had used one of Safia's floral filigree stamps. And what I decided to do is just kind of cut it out, fussy cut it. Well, not fussy cut it. I cut it out with a border. And then I just hand cut these shapes sort of bursting forth from the flower. And I put a leftover bit over here to kind of bring it all together. So I was really happy I was able to use that piece on this page. This one here, this is a painting paper that Safia sent me as well, and that's one of her stamps available at PMR Studio. I don't recall the name of it offhand, but it was her first one, I believe. So I'm going to link, in terms of her stamps, I think I'm just going to link a link to all of her stamps together and all of her stencils together. That way you can see everything that she has. Because she doesn't have a YouTube channel, I just want everybody to be able to see all the gorgeous designs she makes. And then this was some Safia painting paper. This was obviously just a text page all the way across. Here I had some, I put down some pieces of jelly prints below there, and then I had some Jane Davenport rub-ons that I was going to rub on there, but you know, I had them so long they didn't rub anymore. They didn't rub off. So I just cut them out and I glued them down. So that's why they're kind of shiny. So if you have some rub-ons that you like, I recommend that you use them, because once they get old, they don't really work anymore. And then I used some ink. I think it was Jane Davenport ink to just kind of make some doodles. And then I used a gold gel pen to kind of try to bring it all together. So it's a very busy page, and I just kept adding till I was somewhat satisfied with it. It's not my favorite. This isn't my favorite page, but it's fun. It's a fun way to use those old rub-ons. And then this was a text page, and I liked that it said the dinosaur over here. So I just used my washi sticker paper that Janet sent me, that I had printed out one of my, like a close-up of one of my gel prints that I had in my computer. And then I kind of deconstructed that. So I cut a hole. These little bloopies were cut from a different section. I can feel that. And what I like about the washi sticker paper is that you can see through it. So when you're using text, it's pretty cool. And it's very sticky. I didn't have to add any glue. It sticks on very well. You can take it off if you really want to, but it sticks on really well too. Okay, here, that's washi sticker paper that I cut into the shapes that would fit this design. And then I doodled around them using a acrylic black Posca paint pen, like a fine one. And this one was actually gel printed on, versus this washi sticker paper was printed with the inkjet printer. So this one wasn't quite as transparent as this one because it had quite a few layers of paint there. Here we had I had leftover Sumi ink at one point, so I had done just some mark making and then using Posca pens, and I just had this strip that I had hanging around, so I just kind of ripped it up. I glued it here and here. It's underneath this tissue paper. And this is tissue paper that I had won from Dede Willingham giveaway. I think it's Tim Holtz tissue paper, Timmy tissue. So I just glued it down using just a glue stick. I just didn't feel like using matte medium on that because I knew I wasn't going to add anything on top. I just wanted it fairly plain. This here was a blank canvas page. And what I did was I used that Sumi ink again that I had in this little holder to do my squiggles, but I had quite a bit over here. So when I spritzed it with water, I liked it how it turned out here, like how it spread out. But here I just had so much, it just was all black. So then I took my gold ink, this one here, and I just used the dropper to drop some spots, but it was very thick. So I used a wax paper to kind of smush it down. And the wax paper had a cool texture pattern to it, so I decided to cut out one of the pieces from the wax paper and I added it to this page. I wanted to add a little bit more gold over here, but I didn't want to obliterate the design, so I just took a piece of gold thread and I glued it down strategically so that it's still movable, but it's glued down pretty well in spots. And the glue dries clear. That's just the Eileen's tacky glue that I used. Or it may have been this art glitter glue, which also dries clear. Can't recall. This is a leftover jelly print I had. Someone had asked me on a live stream what this print was with the pink bubbles. So I will link that below. It's actually something I did on the Gelliplate using balloons. And maybe I'll do that again soon. This I didn't do on screen, but I had showed it and explained it at the beginning of the video. So I'll link that one below. And then this is a piece of the black deli paper that had a image transfer from a collage soup book. And I just kind of stuck it very simply on here. Just a very simple collage. And then we're almost at the end, folks. This is it. So here I had this die cut that someone had sent me. And I had put down a piece of gel print here. I don't remember what stencil that was. I can't really tell. But after I stuck it down, I wanted to, because I used the orange to balance with what was here already. And I added this gel print here, which is the same one that I had used here. So that little cutout here, I stuck it on this side so that they kind of coordinate. And then I used a Posca pen to do these blue dots. And then I just used a black marker to just outline the dots. I stuck that on there just to emulate the circle theme that was here. And then I grungified this side using just some black acrylic markers. Again, I would dab it or I would spray it to get it to kind of run and get a bit grungy. So that's the Arty Collab by Safia Button and myself, Yolande, and I completed this journal in May of 2025. So I'm going to mail this to Safia now, and I don't have a fancy closure to put on it. I'm probably going to mail it to her flat like this in a mailing envelope, in a bubble mailer. So for now, I just have this little hair tie that I got at the dollar store, and so I have a companion album to send back to her. So she sent me this one. Thank you very much, Safia, for starting this unintentional collab that we fell into. It was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. And I hope you guys check out Safia's Instagram and her Facebook. She does amazing, amazing art. She's very talented and she's very generous with her encouragement and her talents. So I would say that, you know, this had a lot of pages in it. I don't know the final count. It'll have shown on the screen there because I'm going to be numbering all the pages. But because it's small real estate, 4x4 each page, it's a great way to use up leftover bits and pieces, kind of like a desk journal, where you just throw in extra paint or extra little pieces of things. And then you enhance it. Like some of these pages, I didn't finish them in one sitting. I would, you know, add this part, and then later I'd go, oh, I should add this here. And then later I'd say, oh, I'm going to add some more doodles. So it just kind of progresses. Don't feel like you have to finish every page. Don't feel like you have to go in order. So here I had this leftover, I think I said it was a die cut. It wasn't, it was a punch, a star punch I had used when I was doing my scavenger hunt. So I had this leftover piece and I thought, where could I put that? And I found the red here and I put it there. And it just kind of organically grows. It's a great way to use up your scraps. I hope you guys enjoyed this flip through. If you want to see the flip through of this journal, I do have it linked below. When Safia sent this back to me, I did do a thorough flip through of it. So feel free to check that out. I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad I have a photo record of what I did, a video record of what I did, so that, you know, I send this away, I'm not going to see it again, but it lives virtually in my mind and on camera. So thank you again, Safia. Thanks for people watching this video. And I thought I would do the video instead of a live stream so that I could show you the before pictures. So if you have any questions about any specific page, just, you know, in your comments, just put the page number and what your specific question is, and I'll try to do my best to answer you. If you want to tell me what your favorite page was, that would be great. I love interaction and feedback. I'm not going to pick a favorite, but if you have a favorite, just let me know. I kind of just open up, oh, that's my favorite. Oh, that's my favorite. Yeah. So anyways, I'm rambling. So I'm going to sign off and say thanks for watching my video. Check out my live streams every Wednesday at 3 p.m. If applicable, if I'm still live streaming when you happen to watch this video, things change over time. And have a great day. Have fun creating, and see you later. Bye-bye.